Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about Air. Air was directed by Ben Affleck and stars Matt Damon and a whole lot of other familiar faces. They even got Shorty from Scary Movie and follows the history of shoe salesman Sonny Vaccaro and how he led Nike on its pursuit of one of the greatest athletes in the history of basketball, Michael Jordan. Air is a movie that feels like it was made for a very niche audience. Me. I love Air Jordans. I love these shoes to death and I love movies, so I feel like I'm the most qualified guy to talk about this movie and whether it's good or not. Now, as somebody that loves this shoe and its retros, this is one of them because, my god, if this was one from the 80s, it would fall apart in my hands and I wouldn't have it in my hands. If you're a sneakerhead that also loves this shoe, I have to tell you up front that this shoe is not in the movie a lot. Very minimally, because it's not so much about this, but more about the deal itself, how the hell Nike came in to contact with Michael Jordan and how they got this deal signed. That's what this movie's about, not you're gonna see heaps of this on the court and the other models. That's not what this is. With that out of the way, this is still a very good movie. Matt Damon is the standout here for sure. His monologues as Sonny, in particular, just kind of steal the screen when they're happening. The movie does a great job of building up the stakes and the tension around this deal and how much it could cost Nike if this doesn't go through and doesn't happen. The movie also has a great sense of humor. There's some great moments of levity to break up those more serious tension-filled moments. But as far as someone that knows this story, I'm not one that's gone in blind and I'm just experiencing it and enjoying it the first time. I do have a rough idea of exactly what went down. The tension only goes so far is my point. When you know where it's going to go and the ultimate outcome, those tension-filled scenes of, oh, are they gonna sign the deal? Well, we have this. It's everywhere. People are still wearing them. The story of how this deal came to be is incredible, and Nike could have just completely lost if they had not gotten Michael Jordan. They put it all on him. And as I said, the story is incredible, but as far as translating that to screen, the story's only so exciting when you remind yourself that it's over a single pair of basketball shoes. For some people, that might not give them the kick of, oh my god, is it gonna happen? And I think Ben Affleck was aware of it, hence why they focus more on the deal and the phone calls and the conversations around trying to get this deal organized, rather than focusing on the shoe and the model itself. Now, as far as cons or improvements that you could add to this film, I think the movie should have focused on the first 3 models. You could have taken this entire deal story and crammed that into almost the first act of a movie. And then the second act was they bring out the second Air Jordan, which did not do as well, and Michael Jordan was about to leave the company until they brought in Tinker Hatfield with the third Air Jordan to bring Michael back in, which then cemented this line of shoes which is still going. We're at like model 38, 9, I have no idea anymore. But there's so much more story to be told about this line of shoes and how it came to be. It's one of those movies that at the end they give you a byline of, now this person is a vice president of this and working in this area of a company, and they tell you where all these characters ended up. They have a moment where they say, yeah, the company is now worth like $4 billion in annual revenue. That's not just because of this one shoe. Sure, the deal had a domino effect and created all this, but they almost lost it after the second Air Jordan, and after the third one, they had to sustain it and grow it because there's so much more to it. And so I think it's a missed opportunity, you know, having the movie be called Air and you've got Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. This was a chance to do a huge scaled movie, not kind of, let's stretch out just the deal aspect and make an entire movie based around that. However, it would mean changing huge fundamentals of this film. Like, the concept of this movie should have been of a longer timeline. However, that doesn't mean that this movie wasn't good. It was very good. The entire story around this deal, this is about as good as it possibly could have been. I do appreciate that when Michael Jordan is in the film, they don't show his face. They hide him as much as they possibly can, because even towards the start of the film, when they're referencing basketball footage to figure out which player to sign a deal with, they're using real footage of Michael Jordan when he was playing. So if you keep hiding his face and stuff, you keep believing that it's him. It does only go so far when you've got Matt Damon and Ben Affleck though, and Jason Bateman, all these familiar faces. But it would stick out like a sore thumb if you had him turn around and you could clearly see that's not Michael Jordan. I don't know, it's kind of a catch-22. You could have maybe had some interesting dialogue if you had someone properly cast as Michael Jordan. Who knows, that's something we're just not ever going to see. One last thing, they talk about how the first Air Jordan was designed the way it was, regardless of the NBA's rule where the shoe had to be 50% white. I thought that didn't apply to this shoe because it's almost 50% white. I would get away with that. I thought it applied to this one. This is the banned Air Jordan 1, for those who don't know. If you're a sneakerhead, you obviously know. But this was the shoe that they were fined over and over and over for because they're not within the NBA's stupid rule of your shoe has to be 50% white for some reason. So I think that's a small detail they changed for the movie, but it's still a cool story. I'm glad they kind of involved it in some way and they just happened to apply it to this one. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the story has been wrong. I don't think it is. I think this one was okay. It was this one that wasn't. This had all the banned commercials that, you know, the NBA threw them out of the game, but they can't stop you from wearing them.
On September 15th, Nike created a revolutionary new basketball shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game. Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them. Air Jordans from Nike.
Air from me is going to get a solid 7 out of 10. If you're interested in figuring out how the hell this whole thing came to be, the movie is right there. Go for it. Adjustment to a streaming service. Can't remember which one, but I probably shouldn't be plugging anybody. But that's Air. It's a good movie. Check it out if you're interested. It might be a rainy day and you got nothing better to do. It's a pretty good movie, but they could have gone so much further with this concept. But keep in mind that I'm looking at that regardless of budget and time. This is me living in a fictitious world where movies can be as good as they possibly can be, and not in the reality that we live in. This might have been the best that they possibly could have done, despite it being Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Like, these guys are good. Thank you everybody so much again for watching. If you haven't already, maybe consider dropping a sub or a like or something like that. Help me out. Push this through the algorithm to more people that you think should see this. And as always, if you've made it through to the end of the video, you're a bloody legend, and hopefully I'll catch you guys next time. Bye guys.